Getting some breaking news out of Washington. For that, we'll go to Ylan Mui this morning at DOJ. Ylan.
Guys, the Department of Justice now giving the green light to the $26 billion merger of T-Mobile and Sprint, but forcing the companies to sell some assets as part of that deal. Now, under the agreement, Sprint is going to be required to sell its prepaid business to Dish Networks. It also has to divest spectrum to Dish as well. And the two companies have to make at least 20,000 cell sites and hundreds of retail stores available to Dish. In addition, Dish will also be able to access T-Mobile's network for 7 years. Now, Assistant Attorney General Makan Delrahim was just briefing reporters, and he said that without this remedy, the merger would substantially harm competition. And he said that the agreement sets up Dish as a potentially disruptive force in wireless. Now, 5 state AGs have signed on to this agreement. They include Nebraska, Kansas, Ohio, Oklahoma, and South Dakota. But this merger is still facing pushback from a separate group of attorney generals. 13 state AGs and the District of Columbia have filed an ongoing lawsuit to block the merger. And it's important to remember that the merger cannot be finalized until that case is resolved. Currently, there is a trial date scheduled for October 7th, but I would not be surprised if that gets delayed. But guys, bottom line today, the merger between T-Mobile and Sprint clearing a major hurdle, getting the DOJ's blessing, but still there are roadblocks ahead. Back over to you.
All right, Ylan, thank you for that. Let's bring in Faber, obviously, who's been reporting on this since we were children.
Yeah, you know, it's actually good to remember, Carl. The deal itself was announced April 29th of 2018. It was the third try, if you recall, as well, for these two companies to get together. And this time it appears they're getting awfully close to doing so. We've been reporting on many of the details, of course, that were just shared in that briefing that Ylan attended in terms of what will be divested to Dish. This opportunity, they hope, to really create a viable competitor in the wireless market in the form of Dish Wireless, particularly in 5G. And, of course, the two companies from the outset, from that first day in April of 2018, have made 5G the centerpiece of their argument as to why it would be pro-competitive and why they believe the deal should be allowed. By the way, it's always worth going back to the terms if people care. It was 9.75 shares of Sprint shares for each share of T-Mobile, or if you want to do it the other way, 0.0256 T-Mobile shares for each share of Sprint. And that's where it stands. SoftBank, the longtime owner of Sprint that, remember, under Masason had tried to get a T-Mobile deal done early on in their ownership and failed and tried again, and then now we are here. Will own about 27% of the combined company, but the management obviously is going to be T-Mobile's management. John Ledger initially, Mike Sievert, we hear, will take over as CEO, perhaps in the not-too-distant future. And the question will be, can they deliver and execute on the synergies that they had identified initially, John? For example, $43 billion net present value synergy number. And what is Dish's entrance into this market with the MVNO that they're going to have, with the spectrum, with the Boost Mobile? What is it going to mean for competition overall for both T-Mobile and Sprint and for AT&T and Verizon, given T-Mobile Sprint has talked very often about how it really was going to bring competition to those two?